Arranged marriages have been a pain point for women in India for ages. We have been denying it, but we deep down know that it has been a pain point. It is not fair for the women, and it's been only favoring men and not women throughout the years. Hello, my name is Neha, and today I'm going to speak about how arranged marriages are actually very impactful in a negative way towards women, especially where a woman know that it's going to be painful for her as soon as she enters into an arranged marriage. When a woman, whether educated or uneducated, let's talk about educated women first. An educated woman, when she prepares herself mentally for an arranged marriage, the first thing, the first thing she thinks about is how bad it can get and how much damage can she reduce during that process, how much damage she can reduce when she's in that environment. She knows subconsciously that there is going to be a loss of freedom, a loss of lifestyle, a loss of the way she has been living. She doesn't even know what she doesn't even know what she's going to lose, but she know there is going to be a loss, that she's going to go into a disadvantaged environment. I have rarely seen women whose standards have increased from something to something when she's educated. Especially when she's educated, her standard barely improves because a girl who's educated, financially secure, is already living her best life. So when she gets into an arranged marriage, those things get taken away from her. In most scenarios, those things get taken away from her. Lucky are those girls who get to live the exact same life or even better. But the majority of the cases say that girls lose a lot of their freedom. So a girl who's educated mentally prepare herself to degrade in every single way, shape or form. Ignore my hair, ignore my English sometimes. So when I think of arranged marriage, I know that I have to make it as less painful as possible, because now I'm thinking that I need to go into a family that's educated. The mother-in-law should be educated, the father-in-law should be educated, the guy obviously should be educated. They should be from a good financial background so they don't harass me for dowry, they don't harass me for money, they don't tell me that I belong to this lower category of class, and they don't show me my class, that this is where you belong, this is where we got you, you are here because of us and all of that. And educated, because an educated woman understands the problem other women face in India. So she's aware, she's not narrow minded. So that's why a woman of an educated background would seek a woman who's also she'll seek a mother-in-law that's also educated. So the mother-in-law and she can relate to each other, that we have been through the same system, we can understand each other's pain, and that's why hence we'll want to minimize that pain as much as possible. You'll also be looking for, as an educated woman, would also be looking for somebody, a guy that's caring, emotionally intelligent. Yeah, you have a good job, yes you have a good financial background, yes you have a good um, education, but how much are you using those skills in your real life? How much of a humble guy you are? Do you cook? Do you have the humility to care for your wife when she's sick? Do you care for her in general? Will you contribute to the household equally? Would you be asking her to where her share of the money is? Would you be putting her through all of that stress, which an uneducated guy would? And yeah, I'm using education as a benchmark here, but I know there are exceptions on both sides. There are educated people who are extremely narrow minded, and then there are uneducated people who are quite open minded. Okay, so there are exceptions in both sides. We are not talking about exceptions today. We're talking about stark issues that are lingering on our face, the elephant in the room. Okay, so that's what an educated woman looks for. She prepares herself mentally for the torture that she's going to endure. So when you put a guy in front, or when you put a rishta in front of an educated girl or a girl, she knows there is suffering that's coming. Most of the women, they prepare themselves mentally for the suffering that's coming, because It's not favorable towards women. People run away from it. Girls run away from it. Women run away from it, especially the educated ones. They try to minimize the damage by looking at those key points. Educated mother-in-law, education should be prioritized, money should be prioritized, it should be financially set so they don't put pressure on her, and so on and so forth. So it's already been subconsciously seen as a pain point. You're not entering you're not just marrying one guy, you're marrying an entire lifestyle shift. And this is mentally straining for the woman. And I don't know if guys understand this pain point. And if they do, very good. If they don't, look into it. It's a life changing process. You cannot just expect a girl to leave her family, to leave her lifestyle, to leave her job, leave everything and serve this guy who's a bum. Not every guy is a bum, but in India, men are catered to, men are served, men are shown that they are the kings of their kingdom, while the woman is treated like a maid. No matter how educated she is, no matter how good of a job she had before marriage or still has, she's been treated she's been treated like a low class citizen in that family, and she's judged based on her skills to cook and clean. Nothing else. No matter if she's a judge, if she's a doctor, does not matter. Does not matter. So why would a woman choose marriage, arranged marriage especially? Why would she choose marriage over her already fulfilling life when she know it's going to degrade her morally, degrade her character, degrade her job, degrade her as a human? Why would she choose it? You tell me why women are not getting married. So arranged marriages are sustained on the backs of tolerating women. Women, if they tolerate abusive elders, if you tolerate your husband, if you tolerate their family, if you tolerate any kind of abuse, verbal, mental, sexual, whatever kind of abuse, you are a good woman. You are given all the respect in the eyes of society, and you are being mistreated within those four walls in whichever way. Elders can speak to you however they want. Elders can demand whatever they want. I know of this incident where the eldest male member of the family asked the daughter-in-law to cook for 10 of their friends. You just invite 10 people over and you ask your daughter-in-law, go and cook. Not daughter-in-law, um, your son's daughter-in-law, and you asked her to cook for 10 or 40 people. I just heard of this incident. Why is she being burdened with catering to your friends? And out of nowhere, she's not mentally planned. She's not planned in the kitchen. Why are you putting her in that place where she has to suffer through cooking for the people that she doesn't even know are being invited? Do you understand empathy? Do you have that in you where you feel like you're putting a burden on somebody? Or do elders think they are entitled to everything? They are entitled to whatever they ask, how ridiculous the request is, they are entitled to it. And the girl or the daughter in law cannot question back, cannot say no. If you're asked to wear a sari all day, you have to be in a sari all day, whether it makes you uncomfortable, whether whether you don't whether you're going through a physical problem, or whether you don't want to wear it. You are not entitled to that kind of decision in that household. You are being subjected to wear the sari regardless. Also, a lot of our male relatives, a lot of our family's male relatives are the p word, the perverts. Okay, they ogle down a woman when they get a chance. Why would you subject your daughter-in-law, your daughter, or anyone of that gender to that kind of environment? I've seen a lot of families, they just invite middle-aged men over, and these guys are just looking the girl from top to bottom. Okay? Not with the eyes of a father, not with the eyes of a brother. They're looking at them because they can look at them. They have the eyes, they are going to look at them from top to bottom, and they are going to either judge them or going to very like 11 on the timer. So I'm speaking through the soul. I'm speaking to people who resonate very well. Is it fair to subject a woman to that kind of environment? Is it fair? And if she denies to meeting these people, if she denies to touching their feet, whatever, She's being seen as a bad woman. If she tells the uncles oogling at her, why are you doing this? This is not good. They would question her character. They would question her. I mean, she can be blamed. The victim can be blamed in this scenario. And the family would always favor the men. So that's how patriarchy has always been against women. It is created for men, by men, to serve men. And it's doing nothing for the woman in the process. It's a pain point at this point. Something needs to be changed. Something fundamentally needs to be changed in arranged marriages. You are also expected to serve people whether you feel better or not. No matter what physical problems you're going on, especially after marriage, there are some physical problems that you go through. And you are supposed to serve people whether you have that problem or not. You are supposed to cater to people at all times. Not fair again, not fair because people don't expect the son in law to serve the girl's parents, but they would be expecting her to do everything, to put her entire day towards serving his parents. Even he is not willing to serve his own parents, but the girl would be expected to serve his parents all time, every single time of the day. Now, I wanted to point out this very important thing, a very important thing. When you feel like you are being pressurized for an arranged marriage, to meet a guy, to present yourself in front of a family that came with a rishta, to be there, to talk to people that you don't want to talk to. Keep your mouth very loud. Tell people when you don't like them. Tell your family when you don't like somebody. If needed, if people are being forceful in an environment where they're asking you to say yes to the situation right away, tell them you need time, or tell them that you don't like the guy if you don't like the guy right away. Tell them immediately. Don't delay, don't waste your own time. If you need time, ask it. If they're not willing to give you the time, reject it. Okay? But you have the right to choose. Now, this line that I just said is very subjective in India. Do you really have the right to choose? Are you really given the right to choose, or are you just given a rishta and you are forced by 10 people to just marry this person? Do you really have a choice? Now, what do you have to do in this scenario is, even though the environment is very difficult, you still have to choose to speak your mind, no matter how difficult the situation is. Okay? Do not remain quiet. If you remain quiet, your voice will be suppressed over time. It will be suppressed one after the other. It will be suppressed progressively. Something is wrong with my English today. Your voice will be suppressed. If you choose to remain quiet, you will have to remain quiet for a very long time until things go out of your hand and you have to speak up. That's why I'm saying, if you need to speak up, if you don't like something, say it. If you don't like an environment, say it. If you don't like how a person is treating you, say it. You have to speak up. Now, if you're being forced to really be in this situation, and even if you have to take a take a stark step, like calling the cops, do it. Do it. You only get one life, and you have to live it by your own terms, no matter who is pressurizing you, especially in today's day and age. Your parents should be smart enough to not pressurize you. But there are millions of parents who still do that, who still think a girl is a burden. A girl will only achieve her happiness. A girl can only live her life through marriage. Uske pehle, there is no life. After that, your in laws will decide. That's not how you live your life. That's not how you subject your daughter to something like that. And if parents keep doing that, shame on those parents. If they keep putting you in situations where you feel unsafe, where you feel like your parents don't understand you, they don't care to understand you, they call you a burden on your face, I would advise leave those parents. Very, what do you call it, man? Very strong step. But if somebody is not caring for your safety, for your life, for your decisions, for your freedom, for your desires, for your desires, you have to leave those kind of people, no matter who they are. They could be your siblings, they could be your parent, they could be anyone. Okay? And unless you take steps like this to preserve your own desires, your wants, your needs, the society will not give a shit. That's the truth. If you want something, do it. If you don't get something, fight for it. These are fundamental rights. Unfortunately, the country is not capable of giving it to its girls yet. But you have to give it to yourself, and that's how you start a revolution. That's how you start it. What's the worst that's going to happen? You will be unmarried. Is that the worst? You look into the news that we are seeing every day and tell me if that's the worst. You remaining unmarried. You're not washing somebody else's dishes. You're not washing their clothes. Is that so bad? You are getting to live how you want. Is that so bad? Think of who the villain is and remove yourself from that villain. Remove your life, separate your life from that villain. A parent that doesn't understand their child, they don't deserve to be parents. And it's sad that they didn't know it when they were being parents. But you know it. As a child, you know it. Separate yourself from that parent. Separate yourself from that in law. Take whatever step you need to take to remove yourself from that hostile environment. Okay? That's the only advice, this is the only sound advice, only practical advice. Very difficult to do, but this is the only option at this point in time. You may think, how can a girl choose? How can we decide for ourselves? Society decides it, parents decides it, the family decides it, my grandfather decides it, my extended family decides it, the extended family decides my fate. You keep thinking that because it's been subconsciously put in your head that you have no control over your life, that you cannot choose, that you cannot decide for your life. At least until your marriage happens, you can decide. But after that, you have no control over your life. This is been ingrained in women's brain, girls' brain since a very young age. You cannot enjoy until this age because your husband will take care of it. But if the husband turns out to be a rascal and his family, an abusive family, where do you go with that? Where do you go with that? This country is not for the women. Anyone guys know it today. But choose. No matter how difficult it is, choose. In older times, Sita was given a choice among 10 or 12 men. I don't remember how many men were there, but there were several people who were trying to prove they are worthy of her love or her hand. They were trying to win her heart. They were trying to win her rishta, not the other way around. She wasn't trying to impress them. They were trying to impress her. The woman chooses. Historically, women have been choosing. Okay? The egg chooses the sperm. This is the latest research. Go look into it. The egg chooses the sperm. It's not the fastest sperm that swims towards you, just take him. No. The egg chooses the sperm. The egg investigates if the sperm is worthy enough, if it's strong enough to withstand whatever is going to happen next. The egg chooses the sperm. You have been choosing since birth. You have the authority to choose, even though society has taken it now away from women. But you are that embodiment of a goddess, of somebody who should be treated like a prize. Society doing the exact opposite. Gaumata is everything, Gaumata is eating shit from the street. Okay? Women are goddesses, women are being done stuff to. Okay? You have to take that stand by yourself. You have to take that responsibility in your own hands, your life in your hands, your well being in your own hands, and go forward with it. It's sad the society has failed women. It's sad Indian parents have failed women. So many of them, not everyone, but so many of them have failed their girls. So many of them don't even look at the wrongdoings that are happening. It's just accepted. It's just accepted in the society that if somebody is being mistreated, that's her fate. If she's being done things to, that's her fate. That's her fate. That's what she got. And we cannot help her. The in laws are going to abuse her. We don't know what's happening. We'll put a blind eye. She was never our daughter. She was always a prayadhan. We spend so much on a dowry. We're not going to give any more money. We are not going to spend it on our education. We are going to spend it on dowry. Blah, 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 blah. All nonsense concepts started in the last 100 years and are being religiously followed like an idiot. The blind is following the blind. That's the state of our country and arranged marriages. We don't know what we are getting into, but we are getting into because everybody else is getting into that. Because the neighbor got married. The neighbor got married at 24. What are you doing at 34? What are you doing? Get your life together. What do you mean you haven't found the right person? What do you mean that person is not your type? She looks pretty. The guy looks great. Oh wait, nobody cares about guys' looks. The guy earns great. What's wrong? What's wrong if is a little rude? What's wrong? We got beaten by our husbands. We suffered through so much. Our in-laws didn't treat her right. We were giving births at 15-year-old. What's wrong? You have so much, your things are so much better for you. What's wrong? Everything that you just said is wrong. That's what's wrong. And I'm telling you, if you don't take this stand for yourself, nobody else will. This is a sad reality. Take that stand in your hand. If you don't like something, say it. If you don't like a guy, say it. If you don't like your family, leave them. If you don't like what your siblings say, leave them. Tell them this is hurting me. Be vocal. Be vocal about your choices. Be aware of your rights and be powerful. Know that you choose. You choose. You are the one that's taking the generation ahead. You are the one that God has given the power to be pregnant. Oh man. I wanted to sound I wanted it to sound so divine, but it came out as, oh, you have the power. You have the power to choose. You have the power to choose your life. And at any point in your life, even if you're married and in an abusive place, you still have the right, the capability to move away from that environment. Invest in your skills. Learn more skills. Learn something, earn money, and pay yourself to get out of the situation. Think of solutions. There are always solutions. No matter how difficult a situation is, there are always solutions. Don't just keep suffering and develop an autoimmune disease in the future. I have seen several of my friends, mothers, going through problems, going through mental issues where they think their mother has gone crazy, but all they are processing in that moment is the trauma that they have endured from their past, when they were young, when their bodies could withstand it, and now their bodies are no longer able to withstand that pain, withstand that mental trauma. So it comes out in the form of something that cannot be treated now. Don't put your mothers through that pain. Don't put your wives through that pain. Don't put your daughters through that pain. Understand their suffering. Be a man. That's what a man is for. Protect and provide. And if you cannot do any of those, don't get married. Simple. Okay? Don't get married. Stay single like the girls are.